Good morning, folks. Hope you're all doing well. As most of you will know, especially if you've been watching my latest content over the last few days, I'm back on So Rare. I've produced a few videos of under 23 players, Leeds players, etc. And my purpose when buying back in on So Rare was solely to concentrate on limited players and limited competitions. However, I was scouring the market yesterday in where I believe my strength lies, Leeds United, and I was looking at some of the rare players, and I couldn't believe the prices, if in all honesty, on certain ones, and I couldn't leave them there at that price. I think there's exceptional value in rare players at this moment in time, so I thought I'm gonna try and get the most competitive rare challenger side I can possibly get for as little as possible. I've not yet got a goalkeeper because I'm refusing to pay 200 odd quid for Meslier because I don't think he's worth it. In terms of the actual quality of a goalkeeper he is, I don't rate him. However, he will score well because Leeds will keep a lot of clean sheets, in my opinion. However, I was looking at possibly Angus Gunn, Sheffield United keeper, possibly the Coventry keeper. But what I'm going to show you today, guys, is the four outfield players that I've bought, and I think it's come to about 60 odd quid. Like I said in previous videos, I'm of the belief Leeds United will dominate the Championship, even though it's a very competitive league. Leeds are far, in my opinion, the best team in that division by a country mile. However, that does come with expectancy, and that could put pressure on managers, players, etc. But I know the way Leeds are set up, they're owned by the 49ers. They've just been had a little investment from Red Bull, which I believe will become a major takeover in years to come. These guys ain't messing about with Leeds United in the Championship. They want them in the big league as soon as possible, and they'll want it this season. If they don't, there's going to be repercussions. Varka will be gone, etc. So this season, it has to happen. So I'm going to show you the four outfield players that I've bought, and the first player, and I've mentioned him on a previous video, is Maximilian Wober. Now, there are certain risks with players when you purchase them, obviously injuries, etc. No one has got the hindsight to see if that's going to happen in the future. However, this guy refused to play for Leeds United in the Championship last season, and he was sent out on loan, or there was something in his contract that he didn't have to play. He could go club on loan, or if someone wanted to buy him. He went to Borussia Mönchengladbach. However, they can't afford to buy him, and there's no interest in him, apparently. So this guy is back in Leeds United plans. Farker has come out and said he's in his plans. And in my opinion, this guy is too good to play in the Championship. He's just come back from the Euros where he played the majority of games from Austria. And with all due respect, the Championship is nowhere obviously near the level of the European Championships. So this guy, in my opinion, will be very comfortable in the Championship and will be a dominant defender in that league. And like I said, especially playing for the most dominant club in the Championship. I just want to show you what this guy is capable of when he's playing for the dominant side. This is when he was at Salzburg in Austria, and it's my belief that he will start hitting those sort of scores when he's playing in the back two, possibly back three with Rodon, etc. I've picked him up for £8.34, which I think is an absolute bargain for a player of his quality playing in the Championship. I don't see there being any interest in him from what I've read and heard, so I believe he will start for Leeds United come the start of this season. My next purchase was Joe Rothwell, who's currently on loan from Bournemouth. Now, Leeds' main issue last season is their midfield contributed one goal all season, which was obviously not good enough. Glenn Kamara's gone. He's gone to Rennes in France. So I do believe Joe Rothwell, he's got experience playing in the Championship before. He was on loan at Southampton last season, or the second half of the season. He was at Blackburn prior to that. This guy's knows the Championship, and he's a more progressive midfielder in terms. We've got Ampadu, who's more like a sitting, holding midfielder. This guy will link the defence, the midfield, and attack, so I can see him contributing goals and assists. And more importantly, I think he will start for Leeds United the majority of next season, if fit, obviously. There's some of his scores when he was at Blackburn. So, like I said, he's a very capable midfielder in this division. And I picked him up for £7.22, which again, for what I believe will be a starting Championship midfielder for a dominant side, I think is fantastic value for money. So, the next guy on my list, which is, I would say, the biggest risk, is Brendan Aronson. Another guy who refused to play for Leeds United last season while they were in the Championship, went to Union Berlin and done absolutely nothing. Because of that, no one wants him, so he's back at Leeds because he's still under contract. Farker has said that he's in his plans. When he played for Leeds in the Premier League, bearing in mind they had Jesse Marsh, who was a fucking clown of a manager. He is arguably one of the worst Leeds players I've seen in a Leeds shirt ever, Brendan Aronson, because he's too lightweight. There's nothing of him. He gets barged off the ball. However, he's a very skillful player, and I'm under the illusion now, when he plays in the Championship, technically and his skill wise, he'll be far too good for that league. And if he's bulked himself up physically, then I believe this could be a redemption for him to the Leeds fans, etc. And I think he could be an exceptional player at this level. He is what I would call a natural number 10. Rutter played there last season. For me, he's better on the wing and coming in. So I can't say 100% he's going to start every game, but I think this guy, providing he starts doing the business, if he starts at number 10 in a few games and does well, then I think he's going to be hard to remove, because Leeds don't have what I would class, other than him, as a natural number 10. From the videos of Leeds United have released from the guys in training and they're on tour in Germany, he looks to have beefed himself up. He looks pretty sharp from some of the videos I've seen. So my hope is that he'll get his head down, settle down, the fans will forgive him, and he turns in some good performances and obviously contribute assists. Now I paid £12 for him. Like I said, there is a risk. However, if he does perform, I think it's a risk well worth taking, and his price will go up. He's still an under 23 eligible player too, so obviously take that into account. But I think overall it could be a very astute signing. My last signing of the outfield players is Dan James. As you can probably tell by my accent, I'm also Welsh. I've known this kid, or I've followed his career since really young, 15, 16. He came through the ranks of Swansea. I've never really rated him, if I'm being brutally honest. He's certainly not a Premier League player, in my opinion, but at this level, he is very good. He's more of a headless chicken. He does everything so quickly because he's just got bags and bags of pace. His brain can't work quick enough. However, having said that, his goal and assist last season for Leeds United is exceptional. I think there were 21 either goals or assists in about 40 odd games. He did get injured towards the end of last season, so his form was not great. But in the earlier part of the season, he was on fire. For me, he's going to be a regular starter because I still believe Nonto or Somerville, or even both, will leave the club. If Nonto goes, Dan James will play. I would argue Dan James should start ahead of Nonto anyway. And he's come in at 35 quid, which is by far the most I've spent on any of these players. However, I believe I've got four definitely three, but possibly four starters for the most dominant side in the championship next season. And I think I've got it for just under 65 quid, which I think is exceptional value. Now, I've obviously got to get a goalkeeper. I certainly not buying Meslier because he's far too expensive. I don't even rate the guy. My options are, and this is where I need your help, guys. I need and want a championship goalkeeper. I was thinking of Angus Gunn at Norwich, the Sheffield United keeper, Gerbich, I think his name is. There's possibly Bradley Collins at Coventry, but I believe they've signed a Swedish goalkeeper in the summer, so I don't even know whether Bradley Collins will be their number one. I want somebody who supports a championship club who's got a keeper on so rare and will be their number one starting keeper. If anyone could give me any recommendations, I would fully appreciate it. There's not many options because there's not many goalkeepers on so rare who play in the championship, but I want a championship keeper because the utility, 46 games a season, etc. So there we have it, guys. Barring injury, loss of form, etc., these will be my four outfield players that I submit weekly or every game week when there's games that I'm hoping that will challenge in the Challenger division for some rewards. Like I said, there's better options in the Leeds United squad, better scorers, etc., but they cost more money. I'm trying to do this on the smallest budget possible. Therefore, you know, I don't want to be spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds because it's just not worthwhile, in my opinion. But I hope this gives people certain ideas, especially if you support a football club you've got good knowledge on, then make that as an advantage for you, especially if you get loan players coming in, etc., that people might not know who will start, etc., like Rothwell for Leeds. But anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. And like I said, please put any comments about Championship goalkeepers recommendations. Thanks, guys. See you soon.